See, Malik, you asked a good question. In Lunar 36, is it safe to say we have different traders? That's not the point. Like, I don't teach a Puerto Rican or anybody else from another place that's not Black American to say that the 1 to 36 doesn't directly relate to them. My point is that as all teachings, as we read all literature and all things, just like we do with 120, we're supposed to look at it and say that these things relate in some type of level to us, though. You know, because if we go technically, do we have all different traders? Well, in all instances, almost every place I think of, there are instances of people being traded and brought other places. So people can say, well, Puerto Rico was just colonized by two different people, Spain and then the U.S., and so they didn't really go anywhere, right? However, if you look deeper into Puerto Rican history, there was a moment, though, where workers were being fooled with cheap pay, because during the industrialization of the U.S. imperialism, when they took over Puerto Rico, jobs were leaving quickly. So they started to get people to export Puerto Rican workers. And there was a mass not migration, but exporting of Puerto Rican workers into Hawaii to work there. And there was a lot of oppression that went on in Hawaii, because that was like taking them out from one fire into another furnace. Because Hawaii is one of the most oppressed, and from the U.S. too. The statehood is basically a sham, you know, to cover all that up. But there's history in that too. So there's a lot of Puerto Rican settlements in Hawaii because of that. You know what I mean? And they were very abused workers and all that. So again, it's all different levels. And I said, like the coolie system. There's a really book by Erica Lee called the history, the Asian American history of the U.S. I think it's something like that. Let me see if I could find it. I could look it up in the thing here if I read it. I have to get the title right. But the author is Erica Lee. She writes a great history about that, because there's not really a history of that history like that. You know, Asian American history, and it includes Chinese, Japanese, and India, everything Asia. The Making, okay, that's a totally different name. The Making of Asian America, a history by Erica Lee, and huge book. How long? How big is it? 550. 550 book.
550 pages.
550 pages. Erica Lee, Erika Lee. It's a great book. I read it a few years ago, and it was a great. I don't have many books like that, you know, with that detail of Asian history here, and it shows how they got here, what were the things that happened to them, like the oppression that they dealt with in like California and things like that, you know, the railroad systems, the railroads, you know what I mean, and how they dealt with that. So like, if we're looking to equalize slavery with anything else, though, that's not really the point, because you can't. That was the point.
To equalize everything. See,
you know, people always want to equalize. Well, and that includes not just white folk, but other original people. Like, oppression has different levels and layers, because they're trying to oppress without being caught. After certain things are set, they try to continue in a lesser way. You know what I mean? And the atrocity of the moment is that after that atrocity, this one is still going on. That's what makes this one so heinous. Not that it's worse than the other atrocity, but that atrocity didn't amount to anything but just a rebooting in a different way. You know, slightly lesser, but still oppressed. You know what I mean? And so that's a good book, great book to put it in the context to see, you know. But I would say in many cases, though, they were traders. This is different. You know what I'm saying? You know, South America, the Caribbean, slaves were everywhere. The transatlantic slave trade was everywhere in that context. You know what I mean?
But original people have a deeper history than just the transatlantic slave trade.
Absolutely,
right?
so,
yeah. So you know, you go into like the Indians who exiled, or the 2 million Indians, like, because that's what the discussion that I was having with the brother seemed like he wanted to dismiss that history. You know, like he didn't want to acknowledge the history of the 2 million Indians and their, you know, their relationship to the original people.
Right.
Right. You know, And it's hell, like I said, that just goes to show that you're not really studying. You're studying only the transatlantic slave trade, and that's only irrelevant. That's the lessons only have relevance to that.
Right.
And you know, the original people of those experiences are not related to 120 lessons, which is like, are you even studying?
Yeah, it's crazy what is not being read or analyzed. You know what I mean? Malik, you said so. A Latin experience would be different from the transatlantic. No, it's embedded in too. You know, much of the. I mean, look at the Latin Caribbean though. We have African ancestry through that slavery experience. You know what I'm saying? We have direct African ancestry through that slavery experience, and so does much of Latin America as well. South America, I should say, to be more particular. You know, so it definitely is applicable and something to understand.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.